Australia today, it is harder to buy a house than ever before.
That's right.
It's harder to rent than ever before. There are more homeless Australians than ever before.
Yep.
And the fastest growing cohort of homeless Australians are older women,
Yep.
women over the age of 55.
Spot on.
And the government's response in this budget has been minimum help and maximum hype. And it's something that doesn't just make me angry, it makes me so deeply disappointed on behalf of the people in my community who are working day in, day out to provide for their families. The member for McKellar can interrupt me when I'm talking about real people as much as he likes. But this is... You weren't talking about real people. This is a speech about people from my community. This is a speech about Lisa from Langwarrin, who emailed me and I've spoken to. She's 49 years old. She's a single mother of 3. Her youngest son is 14. Lisa has 2 jobs. She works full-time for the council. She works between 10 and 20 hours a week as a disability support worker. The divorce bled her savings dry. By the time the divorce was over, she had no savings. The house that she'd bought in 2003 was gone. Her husband owes her tens of thousands of dollars in child support, but they can't obtain it because he's self-employed and his tax returns say he doesn't earn enough money. She has to pay $2,000 a month in rent to have a home near her son's school in Langwarrin that's decent enough that she feels she can be proud to bring them up in it. As she says to me, she's at the mercy of landlords all of the time who can change their mind and say they don't want to continue the lease. She's at the mercy of her job continuing. If something happens with her job, she is 1 month away from being homeless. The only safety net she has is her long service leave. She cannot save enough money for a mortgage. She cannot buy a house. And that's what she wants for herself, for her retirement, and for her sons and her family.
Yep.
That's what my speech is about. It's about Lisa from Langwarrin and all the other Lisas out there who are hard-working, decent people who cannot afford to live decently in this country at the moment because of the cost of housing and the cost of rent. Now, my friend and colleague, the member for McNamara, recently published a report with McKell called The Crumbling Australian Dream. And one of the things he talked about in that report, which is fundamentally important, is that we don't consider housing a human right in this country.
That's not true.
We do not have a charter of rights. Member opposite says that's not true. I'd like him to point me to the Federal Charter of Rights. We are signed up to international conventions that say housing is a human right. We do not have a federal Bill of Rights in this country which people can rely on in order to make their government provide housing as a human right.
Why don't you let people build
Other jurisdictions around the world do this, but Australia doesn't. There are many things that we need to fix in this country so that people like Lisa and her sons can have security now, so Lisa can have security in retirement, and rating her superannuation, as Lisa said to me, is not one of the responses, because in Lisa's own words, that will leave her retiring without enough to live on.
That's right.
And that's not what the report shows.
There are structural things that we need to do. We need to invest in social housing. And we need to treat housing in this country as a basic human right. And it's part of the reason why, from my first speech on at every opportunity, I have pushed that we need to have a charter of human rights at the federal level in this country so that rights and responsibilities are more than just words. They are things that governments have to uphold.
Hear, hear.
Order. The question is the motion be agreed to, and I call the member for